Welcome to Sales Bites by Journey, where we talk about everything you need to know to be a killer at sales. I'm your host, Will Jenkins. Let's get it. Welcome to Sales Bites by Journey. My name is Will Jenkins, your host, and today we have Ben Bar-Lev, National Sales Rep at Echo. Ben, thank you for joining us today.
Will, great to be here, sir.
Fun times, man. I had the pleasure of meeting you on LinkedIn. I've seen you grow and talk about sales leadership and mentorship and stuff. So it's an absolute pleasure to learn a little bit from you here today. And our topic is going to be relationship-driven freight sales. What you got for us?
It sounds like something where like, oh, of course, sales, relationship. But you'd realize it's a little bit different. You know, I told you before that I listened to a lot of your sales bites. One of them was with Abby Heffenbrettel, and you asked Abby, what are one or two things that are key to building lasting relationships with customers? She just straight out said trust. And that is so important because whether or not you know it, yes, you know, in my case, I work for a third-party logistics company and my title is freight broker, right? Or account manager. But really, you are the relationship holder. And if they don't trust you, you are a consultant. There's so many ways you can say you're a freight consultant, right? You can say whatever you want. Yep. There's Matthew that says he's the armchair attorney. So you can say you are a freight consultant. You need your clients to trust you. And I could not agree more. If the client doesn't trust you, nothing that you say will be translated as, hey, that's in my best interest. Because they're just like, okay, you're a sales rep, you're selfish, you care about your initiative, not mine. And so you really want them to trust you. How do you do that? You got to be genuine. You know, you have to be genuine. Abby also mentioned credibility of a brand, right? What'd you say? People don't know who to listen to anymore. That's what the actual quote was, which is so true. Because like we said on prior episodes, there's so many people in our logistics space that just complain. They look for the problems, okay? For you to be good at building relationships with shippers, you have to understand that you're going to walk into problems. In fact, that's what you want. You want to find the problems. You know, in prior episodes, I said that you really have to talk to people that will talk to you. And so if you have a client that's willing to dedicate time, willing to build a relationship, that's where you're qualifying. When I ship with people, when I'm with a prospect, you know, going into freight, my first couple of years, they're like, okay, what's your vertical? What do you chase? I agree that you do need to choose a vertical or two to know, right? To speak the language, but I chase people, not verticals. I chase people that look for partnerships. The analogy that I will give is you just bought an Airbnb for, you know, rental purposes. You will make more money if you take care of it yourself, but your time and your growth plans will be squashed because you're going to be dealing with that. Or you can pay somebody and now you can go and sell and sell and sell. The best partners that I have, the best relationships I have are people that stay in their lane. They say, I know my industry better than you. You know your industry better than me. I'd like to work with you so you can help me in that industry that you're very good at. A lot of the times, a lot of shippers think that their job is to cut rates. Your job is not to cut rates, and my job is not to tell you to do your job. But the most successful people I've seen on the shipper seat are people that utilize carriers for what they're good at. They're transparent about their goals, and they're very honest. They're very honest of, hey, you quoted me this, I'm working with an asset, they quoted me that. There's no need for secrets. And I think this market has kind of built a lot of distrust, especially with new providers, because it's kind of like politicians. I'm not super political because I just hate being lied to. And I feel like everyone lies. And that's what brokers are, right? They all come in, they say, hey, got technology, I got people, we're going to blow your socks up. Yeah. And then when they get the load, they can't cover it. Those people are nowhere to be seen. And so now all that trust goes out the door, right?
Poof, gone.
You have to be honest. You have to, you know, every time I talk to you, I talk about Sherman and he says, stay in your lane, stay at what your core competencies are. That's how you do a good job. For me to grow the relationship, that does not mean people think a lot of times, oh, you have a great relationship, they must give you all the business. No. A lot of the relationship means they'll give me the business, even if I'm not the cheapest, because they know that I'll take care of it, right? That's a partner. When you are commoditized, it's very tough for you to scale a partnership. Yep. It's just tough because the carriers that I work with, going back to a couple episodes, creating mutually beneficial relationships, I need to make sure my carriers are happy. right? I am not a provider that bashes down his carriers. Without my carriers, I'm nothing. I'm absolutely nothing. And if it was all about rates, I've said this before, brokers wouldn't exist. We're here to fill holes. So the whole goal with a client is casing them, qualifying, getting to know them. What are your KPIs? What are your goals? Do you get a bonus? I've asked a lot of shivers. I've taken losses on accounts before on loads because I knew they would get their bonus. And I told my manager and I said, hey, there's a bigger picture here, right? We're going to take a loss on this. And that goes back to team selling and making sure everyone's on the same page. But the relationship isn't just you and the client. Team selling is also building the relationship. It's bringing the operators that are on the account and talking to the account and building that relationship. Part of the whole solicitation, if you will, when you reach out to a client is, hey, we give you a team, we have our people. Well, bring those people in with the client. Have those people introduced. All they see clients are sales reps that make promises up and down. I bring operators, I bring accounting, I bring legal, I bring in whoever I can to show them that we're human, that we're a team. And it's not just BS of, oh, we have 10 people behind you. We genuinely have 10 people doing everything from tracking to accounting to making sure your paperwork's right. It all goes into building trust and building that brand of, okay, when I give Ben and his team a load, everything's handled. Like, I don't even need to worry about it. That's the biggest compliment. When I sell to clients, I paint pictures. I say it's 4 p.m. on a Friday. You went with the cheap. They're not there. What do you do? Who are you calling? I hope you call me, because no matter what time, even if you didn't choose me, there's a lot of resentment and freight. Oh, you went with the cheapest? I'm not going to help you. I don't care. I'm the happiest backup you'll ever meet. I play second fiddle to many, many assets on several accounts.
Hey, listen, man, you can be Broadway star second fiddle and just absolutely crush it.
Brother, I had an opportunity when an asset, it was very public. This was in COVID. They had to pull a lot of trailers. And one of my clients needed 50 trailers within a day or two. And going back to team selling, I got all the carrier managers involved. And I said, guys, we need to find some storage trailers. And it was immensely profitable because we found the need. We were there. We never had the opportunity, but there will be a time, and that market is coming, where the primaries are going to struggle again. It's been 2 years. Folks listening on here, it's been 2 years of a soft market. People that have been with attrition as high as it is, going back to relationship building. I had a client meeting in Utah last week, and I was basically Noah, of Noah's Ark. God told me there's a storm coming, and I'm here to talk about the future. I know it's soft now, but whoever wins the presidency, there's gonna be a lot of inbound freight. We're gonna shift from a push to a pull method. There's gonna be a lot in inventory, and then you're gonna have a different kind of outlook on your freight than now. And this is something that we need to go. And so part of relationship building is really passing on the messages too. And it goes back to trust of just like, hey, there's things coming up. We need to plan. We need to get around this. And if they don't trust you, they're not going to plan with you. And if they don't plan with you, they're not going to scale with you. Everything goes back to what Abby said of having credibility and having trust.
How do you, in a saturated field with a lot of competition, build trust with organizations that are net new, that do not know you?
Listen, it's tough. As long as they give me the time, right? Because if they don't give me the time, I'm not going to scale it. But if they can tell me what the pain points are, I will find something. It may not be their top lane. It might be a lane that, it's 2 times a month. I don't care. I'm not a volumist or ageist or what. Give me whatever you want. Because my point is, give me a shot so you can get a taste of how we service, because how we service is a little bit different. And it's not the Echo way. It's how me and my team decide to service, right? And that's the same thing with every brokerage asset. How do you service clients? Choose one load and show them. It doesn't have to, everyone always wants the high volume lanes. You're not going to get that. That's people that have proved it. You're going to get the scraps. Fine, treat the scraps as your main meal. Treat the scraps like you're a prisoner that hasn't ate for a month, and that's your only meal for the week. You're going to service the hell out of that scrap.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about mentality and mindset. Going back to the first talk we had, I would rather have people that would go to war with me than people that are logistics experts and are just pessimists, right?
Yeah. It's interesting. You build relationships with people a lot of times when either something goes wrong, and so now they need to see how you respond. Some of the best relationships I've built on the shipper and the carrier side were the result of something that we messed up. And so you need to work through that together as a professional, but that builds a lot of trust because they see your character and the way you handle that. Or being able to work through something that maybe isn't easy. You get the worst lane, some crazy drop trailer project, last minute thing. And now they go, oh man, Ben's my guy, right? I know that was hard. Like, he's my guy.
You said it best. I mean, escalations are perfect opportunities for you to see what happens when things hit the fan.
The best.
Every escalation that I've had with a client, I've grown. I've grown because I see to it that it is a teaching moment, whether it's a claim, driver, whatever. I'm always there because that's where they judge you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the after hours, there's so many things that you don't consider, but clients don't care. If you didn't qualify the client well enough and you don't know that their sales rep's overseas and at 9 p.m. he or she does something and they need help and they don't have somebody to talk to, that's a very quick way to lose that account. You know,
totally.
I posted about out of office. Part of the relationship, part of trust, part of credibility is treating your partner like a partner. If you go out of office and you don't tell your big client that's scaling, hey, I left. Yeah, there's a load something, because you know, freight, we call them the freight gods. It's always when you go on vacation or something, just out of the norm happens.
Yeah, we got
have an escalation path. Come on.
We got Labor Day coming up in August, man, you know, September, whatever. It's on the way. The freight gods will sprinkle in something real weird when you got to take that nice 5-day stretch.
Those 1 out of 1,000 cases cost you a client. You know, so to your point, it's not just being there before there's an issue. There's going to be issues, but what did you do? How did you solve it? And how quickly did you bring a solution? And that's why bringing options, going back to the first time we spoke of, my job is not to dictate options, it's to bring it. How many times have you with a client said their budget was $2,000 and you brought a $4,000 option, they took it because it had to ship, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not that we put $2,000 on it. That's what people think a lot. We just took a more expensive truck that they agreed to. Right. That's why opening transparency. There's so many people that think that I still make $300-$400 a load. That is not the case. I tell people on cost plus margins, if I can make 60, 70, 80 bucks, depending on the length, the haul, obviously not cross country, but transparency is how you build partnerships. Because like I tell my clients, for this relationship to scale, you need to understand one thing. I need to make money. You need to save money. And we're going to find somewhere in the middle for both of us to have that happen.
Yep. You know, it's interesting, man. The best shippers, the ones that you have the best relationships with, understand that this is a for-profit business as a transportation company, right? They're not trying to put you in a position where you're not able to operate, but they also want service at a level that they expect and the pricing to be competitive where you're able to execute and they're able to feel good about the service they get and their freight getting where it's supposed to be. Unreasonable ones, expectations are a little out of whack.
Why are they unreasonable? Well, so many times freight gets blamed because sales, purchasing, everyone made mistakes. Oh, yeah. You know how many times scaling CPG companies that I found that were going to grocery stores that had preferred carriers base their delivered pricing on a carrier that's not preferred. So now they're basing it on, call it T-Force, whatever. And now they have to use an ABF and Old Dominion, right? There goes your profitability. And so every decision that freight, you know, the person in the logistics manager seat has to make is from we're losing money here on POs. I don't care what you do. So a lot of times it's not their fault, the logistics manager. They kind of just acquired that curse. But I try to not make it about just freight rates. Everyone's cannibalizing freight rates. I focus on profitability as a business. And that's why I say, listen, you're a freight consultant. Anything that touches freight. It's not just, okay, you have point A to point B, here's a rate. What if I change point A? What if I make it closer to point B? What if I consolidate point A? You know what I mean? Instead of another shipment that's going from B to C, I bring it on that truck and they make a stop. You know, there's so many ways, and this isn't just an echo thing, it's freight. If you want to save money, how do you do it? You consolidate, you shorten your length of haul, or, you know, I mean, those are the two biggest ones that I've found, right? Or the third one, which I hate saying, is you just keep shopping, right? You keep going to better subject matter experts in that area, hopefully, but like you'll reach a plateau there. And so when you consolidate, when you work with a partner, right? Whether you're a small company or you're Echo, clients want visibility. They want to know what's going on because their options are very finite. Either I invest in a 6-figure TMS or I go on somebody else's. But it's all really, really expensive. And so if I have a partner that I can use their technology, if I have a partner that I can trust, that I know makes money because I need them to make money. You said something very big. They know we need to be profitable or else there will be service issues. Yeah. How many times has a shipper pushed down your rate and now suddenly you're having issues covering it when you didn't? Because you know what, my carriers, I have to pay them a little bit more than that because you can't pay like market average and expect superior service. You just can't.
What's that saying? It's you can choose three, but
it's two.
It's like speed,
cheap, good service, and
cheap. And what's the third one?
I don't know. It's like service, cheap, whatever, and you can only choose two.
You only choose two.
So true, man. That's so true. Relationship is so two ways, and if there's one thing that the listeners can get from this, everything that I've said the past couple sessions is with a client that's willing to talk to me. If the client's not willing to talk to you, if the client's telling you have a one and done shot on an RFP, you're just not going to have the same results as someone like me who's getting multiple at bats. I have several opportunities in my pipeline that I've yet to ship one pallet, but they've been going on months and months. And I've had so many Teams calls and I've already built the value. Now we're just working out numbers, right? That's how you make partners. You create this energy around you that like, hey, no matter what we do together, I'm always going to work with you. I'm always going to improve. That's the pitch that I'm sure you worked on. It's not, whenever you send me a quote, I'll be sure to get to it right away. Sure, we'll do that too. But when I'm pitching to people, when I'm selling to an account, I am selling to that person. I'm selling them me, my team, and everything possible that I can do for them. If you half-ass a client and you promise the world, but you don't give them the world, and that's your time and market intelligence, whatever, they'll sniff it out and they'll drop you.
Absolutely.
Because if you lose your credibility, shout out to Abby, and you lose that trust, you've lost everything you've built for. And it doesn't matter if you have the cheapest rates possible. They're not going to take it because they don't believe you.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point to end on, man. Credibility matters. That trust matters. And if you lose it, it's not really easy to get it back. So, Ben, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your segment on relationship-driven freight sales. I know there'll be a lot of people that'll learn a lot from it. So thank you.
Been waiting for this day since I was born. Will, thanks for having me.
Awesome, man. Thank you.